seeing black barrels.
Now, is that
Maybe the
same...
tall man was there, actually. Maybe that's what happened.
Maybe. But is that the same girl that we saw later in the antique shop?
No, it was the same girl from the fortune teller.
Oh, okay. I thought the girls from the antique shop were the fortune teller's granddaughter and the mother for some reason.
No, they were other characters that were useless to be introduced into the film at all. They probably had more of a part in the film had they not been cut in the original 3-hour.
Yeah, I'd like to see the 3-hour. I want to know why it was pertinent to go to an antique store in the middle of the night.
I don't know. Well, they stayed there. Didn't they live there? The weird thing is that they said, like, I have a bet out for you in the back, as if they own the store, but they're looking at they're looking at the antiques as if they don't own it, as if they're customers.
So strange.
It was really. I felt very unsettled.
I mean, I guess you could have cut that out too.
You could have.
I don't know why you did.
You could have just had them go in a car. Like they weren't going anywhere. They were just they were on their way to go to safety, but they ended up running into like the ice truck.
Yeah.
Who's judging what direction they're going in?
That was a nice shot too. The light coming in behind the ice truck. The fog coming up. Mike standing on top of it, or he was looking.
Yeah,
I liked it. There was a lot of good in this film. But
you see where Stranger Things kind of gets their vibe in a way too. You know, you have these kids, taking action on their own and trying to get over a situation that even adults can't help them in.
Yeah, and apart from the reactions and the conversations between him and the tall man, I think that Mike was a pretty good actor.
Yeah, pretty good. He learned how to drive stick for the film. I mean, I don't know.
13-year-old.
He was 14. They say he was 14. So they bunked off one year off his age. Big deal. Yeah. He only got older while he was filming. So
it tends to happen,
right? I mean, for a year, because just to give perspective, he was 14 at the time, playing a 13-year-old. Yeah. By the end of it, he was 15, likely.
Yeah, he's got to learn to drive.
You already had to learn.
Set for. Most of his teenage years.
I don't know if that was maybe that was I don't know if it was back then. People were not able to drive, at least have some sort of like early license, like a probationary license at 14. I think
70s,
so.
Small town America.
It was off-putting for us.
And I think he's still involved in the franchise. I think he was in the latest film as well.
Oh, was he? I haven't checked.
Same actor.
I guess we could verify. We could check him out.
Yeah. This is all speculation, so who knows?
We could just verify it later. So for those who already know, sorry.
Way. So Reggie's not dead.
Not dead.
You're like, okay, all right. And this is not the last time that his death is a fake out. So you see the black barrels.
Sadly.
Mike finds that these bodies are being turned into slaves because he is pulled into some kind of vortex that shows him a glimpse into another world.
Right, where a bunch of Jawas going into planet Tatooine, and that's where the birth of Star Wars starts.
I guess it's
they find C-3PO and R2-D2, and then they find them off, and then that's one perspective of how the saga of Star Wars starts in Tatooine. It's right there. It's right there in Phantasm.
It was all built on the backs of shrunk down slaves from a small American town.
Exactly. That's it. That's Phantasm. Phantasm is a spin-off of Star Wars. Or Star Wars is a spin-off of Phantasm. Much more successful franchise built off of Phantasm.
Yeah. Well, sometimes.
You never know.
Things like that happen.
Yeah.
Family Matters. Is that what you're going to say?
I was going to say Friends, actually. But what about Family Matters? This one I didn't know.
Well, Family Matters was a spin-off of Perfect Strangers. And
really?
I'm pretty sure more people know about Family Matters than they do Perfect Strangers.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, same thing with Friends, too. I mean, like Phoebe's twin sister, Ursula, in Friends. She had her own show. She was a part of another show, and then they spinned off that character's distant relative, and Friends was a spin-off of that.
I don't know. Does that count as a spin-off?
It does. They count it as a spin-off. So I don't know I don't know what the connection is, but apparently because of Ursula, Friends became the spin-off. Okay. So interesting.
Kevin James's new show?
Well, King of Queens and Everybody Loves Raymond, those are both... They play off each other, though, right?
Yeah, but Kevin James has a new show.
Oh, okay. It's on Netflix, right? Obviously, that's where Adam Sandler is, so they're all on Netflix?
No, you're jumping the gun here. You either know it or you don't. It's a new show. I don't know what station it's on.
I was asking.
It's on one of the regular...
I wasn't guessing.
Yeah, you're speculating, and you're and you're continuing.
But
I'm
asking you.
I'm done with it. I'm done.
Fine.
I'm not even going to tell you this.
Good, I don't care. It's Kevin James.
You would have liked the information.
I'll look it up later. It's cool.
So Mike... So he gets pulled into this world for a moment, but his brother pulls him back out, or Reggie pulls him back out.
Yeah, because he was somehow floating for a while. And you're wondering why is he floating.
He wasn't completely in. This world is red. Apparently, it's really hot, and the gravity is real. real thick.
It's Tatooine,
it's crushing
Matthew.
these people.
It's Tatooine.
I've never seen it. I don't know.
Yes, you have seen Star Wars. Don't say that.
I don't remember anything.
Oh God.
Tattoo, whatever. He gets pulled out of it though real fast, and now it's weird. It's weird. It gets weirder because the lights go out in the room, and it's played off really comically. Like Reggie is talking to people, but they've all disappeared.
Somehow they all found their way out of the room,
and he's like, "Oh no," or something like that.
He's like, "Oh shit," or whatever. What does he say? Something like that. Yeah.
Something comical and tonally uneven from the film.
And the funny thing is that like Cody and Mike end up being outside, so they managed to leave the room, get through the hallways without Reggie, and Reggie was left in that room where he ended up, figuring out what he had to do.
Yeah, and then he goes outside and he goes to help that woman, that velvet woman or whatever her name
lavender
is.
woman.
Lavender woman, the velvet woman.
I thought lavender was a smell, not a. Well, I guess it is a color, but I always hear lavender as a context for aroma, for smell.
That's everything.
I guess so. Okay.
I mean, it's a plant.
That's true. Yeah. Okay.
That's
I forgot about that.
Where it all comes from. It's all stems.
But as a color, that's the thing.
Yeah, it's a purple.
Yeah, it's a purple.
Mauve.
Yeah.
Like the plant.
You couldn't call her mauve.
No.
The mauve woman.
It turns out she's also the tall man, and the moment Reggie goes to help her up in this like windstorm, she just turns and stabs him.
Yeah,
and that's very not a big death for this guy. Like he's kind of a major character, and we just see him die trying to help somebody, and they just didn't linger on it.
He wanted to keep up his reputation. He saved all those women before. I think they were all blonde women in this film too.
Yeah. Reggie's just...
He loves blondes.
He'll only save you if you're blonde, but if you're blonde, he will save you. That's what you need to take away from that.
Yeah, that's what it is. So he saved, but it leads to his demise, and somehow this woman is the tall man too, which we knew in the beginning as well.
Well, originally I thought the tall man was just watching.
Yeah, but he ended up being the entity that stabs their friend in the beginning.
Yeah,
I guess it could have been. It wasn't cut properly.
No, and if you want to be extra terrifying, you switch back into your tall man form while you're having sex with them.
Yeah,
that's how you really make them die with a scream on
that's
their face.
That's how you lose an erection.
Yeah. Oh man. He played a good woman though. It's weird that he...
You're saying like he's like, if that's actually him getting dressed up as the woman, yeah, that's a great female actress.
Well, it's like his character as the
with
tall
great
man.
breasts apparently, because by Cody and Mike's standards, oh wow.
But I mean, his character as the tall man was much more reserved than when he was a woman. When he's a woman, he just really just lets it all out.
Lets it all out, man. Yeah.
This.
Hermaphroditus.
Yeah. And if this film isn't already off the rails, then at this point it just goes into the sea of insanity, because somehow a plan was devised to lead the tall man
into the mines, right?
Into the mines, so that the brother can knock a giant boulder down onto him.
Yeah, which was pretty cool.
Trap him in the mine.
Yeah. And then but it doesn't end there. Somehow there's a twist to this.
It's all a dream.
All a dream, man. I mean, it's 1979. I guess they haven't pulled it off as often. I think that was more of a thing in the 80s where it was just a dream. I think that was more like, that was a gimmick that was pulled off more later on. So for us to see this, it is kind of frustrating.
Super frustrating.
But it's so weird for him to think it's, okay, so Reggie never died.
Yeah, Reggie is now the caretaker of... not the caretaker, but
his guardian.
The guardian.
He's Mike's guardian,
Mike,
yeah.
Because Jody's been dead this whole time.
Yeah, he was dead the whole time. Yeah, he was just dreaming this whole thing.
Yeah, then Jody had actually died in a car crash. So I guess his parents are dead. Then Jody died. So this film was more about Mike dealing with
nightmares,
loss, and death, and trying to cope with the death of his parents and his brother.
Yeah, you went deeper than me. That's good, because I didn't want to go further than that. Just calling it nightmares.
But
he was mourning the whole time,
and so this whole thing was a dream. But it's
then it's not a dream, because the tall man returns and has that classic ending.
But it was a dream. It's just especially upsetting because within this dream we see Mike dream.
Yeah.
So he has dreams within dreams. But not only that, but a character he's dreaming about, Jody,
right,
has his own dreams.
That's right.
So Jody is now having dreams within a dream of like Jodie's not alive.
Only Nolan can make sense of this. That's the reason why Inception exists. A dream within a dream, another architect, and just constructing these dreams. And the tall man's the architect.
Yeah,
definitely.
If they wanted
Westworld,
if they wanted this story to work, this idea, this twist to work, you'd have to make sure that we never see Jodie from his own perspective.
That's right.
You need to never see just a moment of Jodie doing something unrelated to everybody else. Jodie, I understand that his brother was constantly watching him.
Right.
But he wasn't always there. We see Jodie on his own plenty of times. And I feel like this was just one of those last-minute ideas that they can't really make work because they didn't plan for it.
Right.
And it was very upsetting because it was not a satisfying conclusion.
At all.
Because...
and
we see Reggie being real sweet and being like, I'm here for you. I'm always going to be here for you. I take care. And
I'm going to sell a bunch of ice cream.
Super sweet. I'm going to sell so much ice cream. And
no,
I'm
they
going to put you through college.
Well, they go on a road trip, right? That was the point at the end of it.
Yeah. So it's late at night, dark, raining. I'm pretty sure. Like it sounds like there's a storm outside,
or just bad sound effects.
Maybe that. And Reggie's like, you know what? Let's go on a road trip. It's the middle of the night. Let's just go upstairs and pack your bags. Mike goes upstairs, and the tall man is in his room, and then the little squat people take him.
Jawa's taken from the mirror.
They crack open the mirror, pull him in. I imagine they're pulling him into the other dimension, or the other planet, or whatever.
That's how Luke. He's actually Luke. He grows up in Luke
Skywalker. No more Star Wars. I don't.
You sound like somebody at the time, at the 70s, saying, "Oh, no more of the Star Wars, okay? Enough, okay? It's all make believe."
Phantasm is where it's at. That's where the money's at. So, now what do you make of this? Do you make that if it was all a dream? At what point was it a dream? At what point wasn't a dream?
I don't know.
Why is this character still here? Is it all still a dream? Did we see a moment of truth in this film?
I think there's only one way to find out, and that's by watching
the sequel.
Exactly.
Yeah, I guess, but they didn't intend to make a sequel.
Well, they intended to make a 3-hour film, so then you couldn't make that those
that's
other
true.
parts that you didn't include in the first cut. It would be in this sequel.
And they had made a couple of different endings, and this was the ending they went with.
Imagine that.
And I believe I read that in the fourth film, they used one of the alternate endings for this film.
Okay.
To end the fourth film.
Now I'm kind of curious.
Yeah, I'd like to see how the whole universe kind of ties itself together.
I've been seeing a bunch of Facebook groups just saying, "Oh, I got my entire Phantasm," because the collection just came out recently, actually.
In an orb.
Yeah.
In a sphere.
In the sphere.
It's pretty good.
It's a cool thing to have. It must be so overpriced, but
Well, maybe, but overall, David, I kind of liked this film. I liked where it was going until it didn't know what it was doing anymore. And I'd say that's right around the time when everybody met up at the mausoleum.
Yeah, pretty much. Even though the mausoleum was really good. Even though it was just 1 or 2 hallways, but and I remember the ending, how the way, like when Reggie opens that gateway, the house is supposed to do something like what the poltergeist did, basically, and they just I don't know, they just colored it in the film, and they just did the transition.
Much cheaper effect to get that point across. So I imagine this funeral home has gone into another dimension or just destroyed itself.
It was used in other films though. One of them was a View to Kill, and what was the other one? I forgot the other one. I don't really check.
A bunch of movies I never saw.
Well, you watch A View to Kill.
I don't know if I did.
Oh yeah, it was a lot of them for you to tell the difference. But it's yeah, it's kind of funny.
I mean, it's a nice house. I find it's a waste to make it a funeral home.
Yeah, definitely.
Just make it one person's mansion.
I can't even imagine it being a mausoleum in there, actually.
What do you mean?
I feel like a big house like that is supposed to have like a huge ground floor.
Well, I don't know. Isn't the mausoleum... No, I guess it's a mausoleum. Okay, because I was going to say I think a mausoleum was...
Yeah, that's all I saw on IMDb.
You keep bodies in.
Yeah.
But you do... This place seems to be funeral home, mausoleum...
it's got to be someone's home as well. Someone lives upstairs.
It's such a big place. Somebody has to. There's probably a school in the back and yoga on weekends.
Oh yeah, maybe now. Not back then. No one's doing yoga. There was those hippies. Those hippies weren't around there.
Yeah, I guess so. What do you think of the film?
Yeah, I didn't see what the hype was. I really don't understand. Like, everybody just, we kept saying that we see this film everywhere. It's a cult classic, which I'm not saying it's not, but I don't see what the fascination is so much into it. I guess, like, well, I am intrigued to see the sequel just to fill in those plot holes. But, like, if critically, I could understand why critics probably, like, just tore into it for sure. Yeah. I can understand